Hey guys, welcome to Marketing Cheat Guides. Today we have on the show Ed Stapleton from clicksgeek.com. He is a PPC white label master and he's going to share some tips, tricks with us. Hopefully we'll get a lot of value from what he has to share. He's been in this business now going on 3 years, has had tremendous success working with 60, 70 SEOs to scale up their business, providing this white label service. Ed, thanks a lot for joining us here on the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this business?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Christoph. Going back 3 years or so ago, my partner, Robert Andolina, and I founded this business. I came from the SEO side of things and hired my partner, Rob, at the time as a subcontractor. And I, coming from the SEO world, thought that PPC was dead or it was too expensive and it didn't work for local clients. And I've been fed the whole line that the SEO training industry preaches that PPC is just too much. And Rob kind of showed me the difference, showed me what a properly built, successful campaign can do and what it can do for a business. And he took one of the clients that we had and 3x'd them in a matter of a couple of months and knocked my socks off and really changed my opinion about PPC and what was possible and being able to deliver that steady flow of leads in a very short time frame. So soon thereafter, I dropped out of the SEO game and put all my focus into the PPC world. Rob and I founded a company together, and we've been off to the races ever since. And when I say off to the races, I mean we've stumbled clumsily along the way and made mistakes and tried everything under the sun to generate leads and do our thing. But it's been a fun journey thus far.
Awesome. So when you guys first got started in this, how did you end up finding the clients? I mean, it sounds like you had some SEO clients to sell, but once you started making that transition over to the dark side, just PPC, how did you end up finding your clients?
We tried everything. We tried in-person networking. We tried cold calling, cold email, direct mail, networking groups. You name it, we've tried it. We've done it. We've either failed or succeeded at it. And I think one of the important things with prospecting is to find what you're comfortable doing and then throttle down and do it as best you possibly can. Our business is a little bit different in that we don't need that many clients. And I'm not saying our business, I mean our industry, digital marketing as a whole. You don't need hundreds of clients to be very successful in this business. You could do extremely well with a dozen clients if that's what you wanted, if you charged correctly. So, finding something prospecting-wise that you're comfortable with and then pedal the metal. Okay,
so as you were doing that, what became your kind of your go-to special sauce? And I mean, I understand you started with the spray and pray. It's pretty much what everyone does. So what did you find successful in the PPC industry worked in terms of, I mean, again, like you're saying, you're white label, so you were really marketing to people you understood. You're marketing to SEOs, it sounds like, primarily. That must have been an advantage, understanding that buyer persona.
Right. Yeah, I'd say a lot of cold email has done well for us. Outbound cold calling has done well for us. Okay. Marketing within groups on Facebook has done well for us. Even direct mail has done well for us on the white label front. So we've done all different aspects. I'd say 2018 is going to be heavily focused on outbound for us, whether it be cold email and cold call.
Awesome. All right. So what were some of the challenges as you were scaling up? And how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I'd say building the internal systems. I know you're a big systems guy. Documenting processes and building systems internally so that you don't get in your own way, and just identifying weaknesses in our build-out process. How to just remove friction from launching process, and how to get people into market as fast as possible. As soon as someone pays and they press go, no one likes a two or 3 week ramp up period to get to market. Because your next payment is right around the corner. So you want to be in market as fast as possible, and that goes for SEO as well. That month one of research mode isn't going to cut it. You need to be in market, doing your thing as fast as possible, and figuring out that process and hammering that out was a big. It took a while, but it was very helpful for us. I think also figuring out what to say no to is very big. Not trying to be everything to everybody. Stay in your lane. And it's okay to say no to bad deals, bad people, bad situations. If you get that gut feel that this is a bad deal, you can walk away from it. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'd say some of those are some of the big things we've learned. The other things is really be sales focused. You've got to be focused on revenue generation, revenue generating activities, prospecting, setting appointments. The name of this business the important thing in this business is setting sales appointments, having those sales conversations, and deals will come from.
Okay. So what's your process like? Is that automated? Are you like pushing them to like a Calendly link where they're booking, or are you just dialing, getting them on the phone? How do you get those appointments set with your prospects, I guess?
That's a great question. Calendly somewhat. I don't have tremendous success with getting people to automatically do Calendly.
Okay.
I try, but more often than not, it's just easier when we do the back and forth and pick a time. I know it's not the most efficient way to do things, but I've seen a big drop off when I've sent Calendly links and actually getting them to fulfill and pick a time. It's not like it's like the email disappears or something, but when I have the conversation and book the time, it works. So we do Calendly, but not as effectively, I think, as we should. Sorry, what was the rest of the question?
Well, that covers it. So tell me a little bit more about PPC. I mean, I do a little bit of PPC more on Facebook probably than AdWords. Are there any tools, tips, tricks that you would kind of give to people that are newer in the journey, just starting out in terms of wanting to experiment with PPC? What are some of the things that should be in their toolbox?
Gotcha. Okay, so I'd even go back a little bit further and identify niches that you'd want to target before you even get to the toolbox.
Okay.
PPC is not right for everybody. Some niches are too expensive. Some niches have too low of a lifetime value for clients that it just doesn't make sense for, or it can, but it's very much a one-off basis, and it will make things harder to scale for you. So I'd say identify niches that you want to go into that have high lifetime values, have decently low click costs, or at least if the click costs are high, the cost per acquisition is acceptable for the client. So I'd say start there. On our blog, we've got a list of the top 40 or so niches that we think are best for PPC.
Okay.
Your standard, your roofing, your plumbing, a lot of the medical sub niches, your podiatrists, your ENTs, your lawyers, your family law. It's the usual suspects in local business. Once you've identified that, good old Google Planner. As much as everyone hates it, it's the keyword planner is kind of the core of my research. We find a lot of the other analytic tools. I don't want to name them, but I bet you can name a couple off the top of your head. Aren't as accurate when you get to the local levels for search volumes, especially how much of it's going to come from the long tail, which is the majority of the traffic you're going to see with pay-per-click. So I don't really like those tools. I really go more often on Google Planner.
Okay. So you're seeing like the long tail is where most of the action is going to happen. Are the long tails bid up as much as the traditional keyword that people are chasing, at least from the SEO perspective?
Yes and no. I'd say there's probably the most opportunity there for you to pick up some low-hanging fruit. So yeah, the beauty of AdWords is that you can only pick up so much with SEO because you can only put so many keywords on a page. You can only develop so many pages without it getting ridiculous. So PPC is able to just drag in a very large net of keywords to target, and you can do so cost effectively depending on the match types that you use. Another beautiful thing about a successful or an AdWords campaign is that in Google Analytics and you get the not provided link or the tab, and it basically hides all of the good keywords that's driving traffic for you.
Okay.
With the pay-per-click campaign, you can actually go through and see all the raw data of what's driving traffic for you. So that alone is worth $1,000, $2,000 depending on the niche. Just to have that data, see what's driving traffic in your local market, and then you go back and build out anchor text with that, or blog content, or video content, or whatever it might be.
And again, I imagine that those keywords are probably fairly consistent within a niche, city to city, place to place.
Yeah, absolutely. The variances being the geo modifiers, the name of the city,
Sure.
And the other people in the other cities, how they bid. A lot of times people think that just bidding higher is the way to go, and sometimes that needlessly drives up market costs, but in reality, it's usually not the best thing to do, but it happens, and you've got to defend against it.
So having worked with digital marketers in SEO, and I mean, there are people that are probably doing other kinds of digital marketing, be it social media. What is your ideal client, or what is somebody that's watching this that has clients, let's say that are selling SEO or social media or even content to, how would they incorporate your service in terms of adding value for their business, either in terms of, not having the headache and being able to have that full service offering, or being able to make some money in terms of a markup? What have you seen from your experience, how your people are kind of using your service?
Gotcha. Okay. So there's a couple different ways. There's the SEO that has an SEO client. He brings us in to build and launch a pay-per-click campaign for the client, and we kind of give them an immediacy of leads. We are the immediate to long-term strategy, whereas SEO is maybe your mid to long-term strategy.
Okay.
We can get the phone ringing very quick. Gets the foot off the neck of the SEO, lets them sleep at night, and gets the client happy because the phone's ringing. They can do their thing with SEO. They can take their, do their link building, do everything that they need to do, and PPC will bring in leads from the onset. That's a very popular combo for us, the 1-2 punch. Those types of people are either doing one of a couple things. Some of our clients are just passing our costs through. They're not really upcharging at all. For them, it's a peace of mind thing. Now, the other end of the spectrum, we have guys that are charging 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times what we're charging. It really just comes down to their positioning in the market, their ability to sell, and most importantly, the client's ability to get a return on investment. The other end of the spectrum, you've got a full-on digital agency that's offering a full suite of services, and we're just kind of in that suite. And they may upcharge 10 or 20%. They may upcharge 50%. It really just depends on what their internal threshold for margins are and where they want to be at.
So do you guys do just AdWords, or do you do like other PPC, so Facebook ads as an example, or even ads that are going to go through on YouTube? I guess they're still part of the AdWords network, but do you do YouTube ads? Do you do Facebook?
So we don't. We're strictly AdWords search network lead gen company. So we do some remarketing on the display network, but we don't do any YouTube as of yet, or as of right now. And we do a little bit on the Bing side, but we run as far and as fast in the other direction from Facebook ads.
Perfect. Okay, so you've been in this business a little bit. Say somebody watching this is interested in getting into this space. Obviously, they're at the beginning of their journey. What are some of the things you wish you would have known 3 years ago when you got into this that you can share with the audience and hopefully make their path a little less bumpy?
Pipeline. Have always be setting sales appointments. If you're sitting around not doing anything that day, pick up the phone, send out cold emails, whatever it needs to be to generate more sales appointments to build a pipeline of potential deals, because a good majority of the deals you try to close are not going to close, and that's just it. That's how it goes. That's the nature of the beast. So always be prospecting, always be out in front of more people. Prospecting and sales is the name of the game in this industry. You always have to keep going. The moment you sit back and you're comfortable with your revenue, you're going to lose a client or two, and it's oh shit mode, and you're in trouble. So prospecting is the name of the game, and for a lot of people, it's a painful thing. So if that's the case, I'd say watch your videos. You're big on prospecting. Go to YouTube. There's tons of stuff on prospecting. Pick up a book. The book I sent you, Power Phone Scripts, is an awesome book. Yeah, the book is awesome. So sales is very formulaic. It's not charisma. It's not anything other than a system for getting people through the process to say yes or say no. It just depends on. Not everyone's qualified, so it's not always a yes. There's Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt's another great book. Another great one, if you want to get into the cold calling side, is Setting Sales Appointments by Scott Channel. That'll give you actual scripts from other web design agencies within that book itself. I'd say the most leverageable skill for us or for people in this industry is the ability to sell and the ability to get appointments. And that's one thing my partner and I both wish we realized sooner. I'm putting systems in place to make that happen. So other roadblocks or other things I wish I knew. That's a good question. Well, we covered a couple of them earlier, the ability or saying no to deals that just didn't make sense. But I'd say most of my advice would be sales oriented.
Okay. In terms of like people that are playing with this, either for their own business, so they own their own business and they're on AdWords, or they're trying to play with it themselves with their clients. How do most people lose money in this game? Right? I mean, you hear a lot that people are, they look at it as a losing slot machine or whatever they want to refer to it. Obviously, They don't have a technique in place, or they're doing something wrong. What are some of those like easy wins that you can point out that hopefully will save some people some dollars?
Sure. So right when you create an AdWords campaign, AdWords pushes you towards Google Express. Google Express is terrible. It's a broad match kind of done for you platform, and it just takes your money faster than you could put it in. So I'd run away from that one. The problem is when you go to regular AdWords, it's an intense platform, and it's intimidating and it's scary. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of buttons. There's a lot of tabs. So it's intimidating. Broad match is a problem. Broad match is where, let's say, you want to go after roofing. Any combination of words with roof or roofing in it will come up with broad match. So it's like, how did that kid fall off the roof? Your ad's going to appear for it. And it could get ugly really, really quickly, and just show you how many people are using AdWords typing in words. It's staggering. The biggest thing though is landing page. Most people are sending the traffic to a homepage or an inner page it's got no headline, it's got no social proof or testimonials, it's got no calls to action, it's got no hook, no offer. It makes people tough to do business with you. And so a landing page is it's vital to the success of a campaign. So let's say your campaign's converting at 5% or 10%. That means for every 100 clicks, 5 or 10 are becoming leads. If you could get that into any acceptable range or benchmark range, you're hundreds of percenting it down the line. You're really doing a multiple of performance on a campaign for doing nothing else than just driving the traffic to the correct place.
What's a benchmark for that maybe you can share? I know it probably varies from industry to industry, but there must be like a ballpark.
So for most legal and like home service based stuff, we're really not happy if we're below 20%.
Okay. And
the high end of the range is in like the 60% range, depending on the niche, depending on what the offer is. So realistically, 20, 30, 40%, you're in a really good campaign, good landing page. You're hitting that message to market match. You're speaking the language that the prospective client is thinking and typing into Google. And that's where you're getting those high conversions from.
Awesome. So as part of your service, is that something that you consult with, or is that something you do for your clients in terms of helping them with their landing page to obviously improve optimization?
That's a good question. That's something that we actually do. If the client doesn't want to do it, then there probably won't be a deal, because it's you're handcuffing. You're making it harder for us to do the job. Back in the day, AdWords management was just about driving qualified traffic and qualified keywords to a page.
Sure.
Now we are responsible for converting that traffic into leads and making the phone ring. So if we're not able to use all the tools at our disposal to do that, then it doesn't make sense for us to put our reputation on the line, put our just the extra headaches that go along with not being able to use everything that we know is best practice.
I assume you're running call tracking on those pages as well?
Yep. Yeah. So we use CallRail for call tracking. We use Instapage for landing pages. We use Swidoo for reporting. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I'm saying Swidoo right. If it's Swidoo, but it's a good reporting software. That's what we use, and that's the bulk of our tools.
Okay, cool.
It's not other than that. It's Pipedrive for sales activity. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. So, I mean, you spend a lot of time in this industry, and obviously with so many clients, you probably don't have to spend as much time keeping up. But I'm curious, any recommendations for either courses or where people can learn this skill set?
For selling it or for
doing it? For doing it.
For doing it. That's a good question. Mike Rhodes. He's an Australian. He's one of, I believe it's a Perry Marshall Mike Rhodes course now. I think it's $60 or $70 a month.
Okay.
We had that membership for a couple of years. I'd say that's a good place to be.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cost effective for what you're going to get from it.
Any Facebook groups or any other communities you hang out in that add value?
I'd say yours, Lion Zeal. Daryl would be a great guest on the show as well. Mark Lockenbaugh from LCT, Local Client Takeover.
Yep.
Those are our core ones that we're in.
Perfect. Great. All right. So.
And also in Foot in the Door. You got to get into Foot in the Door.
There you go. Foot in the Door. A little shout out to Stephen King and John, my partners with that.
Yep. I love that logo, man. That animated logo is awesome.
In terms of how you spend your time now, I mean, you've gotten it up to scale. You've got your partner, you've got an employee working with you guys. So how do you spend your days now? Is it fully in terms of sales? Do you spend some time actually doing the work, or does your employee take care of the work while you're banging doors down?
So I focus on the front end of the business. My partner focuses on the back end of the business, so the actual fulfillment of the work. My side of the business is mostly the nurturing of leads, sales conversations, client management, and then just a lot of my sales conversations really aren't sales conversations. They're more, I don't want to sound corny, but mentoring or sales training, where I'm providing advice on how to go out and actually sell this stuff and how to think about different markets, how to look at Keyword Planner to see if there is an active campaign that we could go and do. So here's the thing: a lot of markets make sense for pay-per-click. They don't make sense for pay-per-click when there is a middleman in there and there's that extra bit of budget.
Okay.
So that's where it gets a little bit tough, where I could go successfully run a campaign for somebody, but if you want to make money on it too, then it becomes a little bit more difficult, and that, we just need to take that into account. So a lot of what I do is just help walk people through deals and make sure they make sense.
Okay. So one of the questions I like to end with is, what's something you spent $100 on recently that you're enjoying?
Only 100?
Well, you could kick it up to 200, but let's keep it below 200. Not everybody has.
Right. Well, I just got a new iPhone in the mail yesterday, so that's the new purchase I'm a little happy about.
You get the 10, or did you get?
I just got the 7. I was on an Android, so I made the switch back over to the dark side.
As a shareholder, I thank you.
Yeah. What did I? Oh, you know what? I just got. I have a 4-foot by 6-foot whiteboard coming in behind me. So as a nerd, I would say that's the thing I'm most pumped about, or a stack of books I just purchased.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time. Guys, if you're still watching this, please give us the thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, we're going to be sharing more with other entrepreneurs in various aspects of digital marketing. If you haven't hit it yet, hit the subscribe button for the channel. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them below. I'll make sure to link to a lot of the resources that you mentioned, just so that there's an easy place for people to be able to find it. And again, thank you so much for taking the time today and hanging out with us.
You're welcome. Enjoyed it.